Welcome back to the Tip of the Ice-Burgh podcast, brought to you as always by the Hockey Podcast Network. Thank you again to Jordan for joining the show and talking a little bit of Pennington hockey here in the middle of July, the dog days of summer. We can't really say the dog days of summer as far as the NHL is concerned because, well, we have the expansion draft coming up next week. We have the NHL entry draft coming up the following week. And then we also have NHL free agency starting. So there's a lot of exciting things to happen as far as the NHL is concerned here in the next couple of weeks. But let's get into our Pens poll from last week. We asked, which matchup are you most excited to get back to next season? Of course, this year in the NHL, the Pittsburgh Penguins only played within their division 7 other teams. Next year, you would assume, with an 82-game schedule, the Penguins are going to get back to playing every one of the other 31 NHL franchises. So which matchup, we asked, are you most excited to see? Penguins versus Lightning, battle of the back-to-backs, won the poll at 36% of the vote. Penguins and Hurricanes, a young up-and-coming team, came in second with 29% of the vote. Other, with plenty of comments below, came in with 19. And then Penguins versus Oilers, a little Crosby versus McDavid action, came in fourth with 16% of the vote. I'm just going to mention really quickly some of the other matchups that our listeners brought up. You mentioned the Penguins versus Avalanche, battle of the best friends, battle of the matching golf shirts, Sidney Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon going at it. Penguins Capitals was mentioned by Isha. I know the premise of this was to ignore the teams the Penguins played this season, but Isha defended himself on it. He said, listen, that's just the one I'm excited for. I'm excited to see some Pens Caps. So fair enough. We'll let it slide, obviously. And then Penguins Golden Knights was on there a little bit. And then simply put, Man Bear Pigs from our friend at State of Hoppy from the Soda Pod here on the Hockey Podcast Network. So definitely a lot of options here. Horwat, you mentioned Penguins Avalanche. Why are you excited for that?
Because the Avalanche are always a good team. Mm-hmm. Always. And whatever, I guess I shouldn't say that many always, as they were historically one of the worst not that long ago. But watching them regroup and rebuild into a damn near cup contender every year has been ton of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. They're one of those teams that I enjoy watching the Penguins play because the Penguins will play fast and, speedy teams and won't, develop a game with it. For some reason, it seems like when the Penguins play the Avalanche, at least there's some sort of, hey, they're playing fast with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, Paulie from the Capster podcast can vouch for this. He's seen the Penguins play the Avalanche very well. I mean, Hornquist put up the fastest hat trick in franchise history against them. So they're always fun matchups. I mean, I think you don't have to look any further than that wasn't the last time we played them, but the first time we played them in the 2019-20 season when it went to overtime with Tanev scoring. That game, beginning to end, was it looked like the World Cup games. It was quick, it was fast-paced, and everyone was kind of wanting to contribute their way. And Crosby had an incredible goal that game. Clearly, the game went to overtime, and we shut down MacKinnon that game, if I'm not mistaken, which is hard to do.
MacKinnon got hurt in the beginning of the game, which slowed him down. He took a hip check, which kind of looked like he injured his knee a little bit. I remember specifically from that game because he was flying in the first 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And he did end up scoring a goal, if I remember correctly, but he was slowed down a little bit from that injury.
Yeah, that's just one of those games that are fun to watch. It's not like when we play the Oilers, it's a friggin' gong show half the time. But it seems just everyone plays their best game against the Avalanche. I don't know what it is. Also, when it comes to the team I'm least looking forward to seeing again, I have to stick with the Blackhawks because we just can't beat them. So, leave it at that one.
Well, I don't know, because the last time we faced the Blackhawks, they were not at this stage of the rebuild. Yes, they were on the trend downwards, but they were not at the stage where, I mean, I guess they are going to get Jonathan Taves back next season, so that'll add a little bit. We don't know how he's going to play after missing all of this year with an issue. But honestly, the one I'm least looking forward to getting back are kind of the ones that I'm never really excited to watch in the first place. Not that I don't like watching certain teams, but I don't want to see Penguins versus Ducks.
It's those West Coast games, man. Those West Coast games.
Yeah, but at least, I don't even want to see Penguins versus Sharks because they're in a full rebuild, and the Penguins are probably going to find a way to lose that game, to be completely honest. But as far as like the Kings, I'm excited with. But I voted for, I put in for the Penguins Maple Leafs is the one I'm excited to see, just simply because when I've gone to those games or when I've been in the city for those games, a lot of Toronto fans make the trip down to Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun because it's not a hated rivalry, at least not at this point. Not really ever. But it's a lot of fun seeing the banter between Penguins fans and Maple Leafs fans. And honestly, probably two of the most ostracized fan bases in the NHL. But it's a lot of fun. They were really nice, the ones that I ran into the last time I went to one of these games. Plus, the teams are both just really, really exciting to watch. So I'm excited for that. But I also agree with the majority of our listeners. Pens Lightning, especially now with the storyline of the only two teams in the salary cap era to go back-to-back. This Lightning team is going to be a lot different next year, but it's still going to be a fun matchup.
It has to be a lot different next year, or else there might be some more issues to talk about.
Yeah.
Also, an answer that I completely forgot about and no one remembered: Seattle.
Yeah.
Hello, a whole new team. I think whenever Vegas was coming in, I think that was the game most looked forward to, and not because of the Fleury thing. But
it also was.
Yeah, but like when there's a new team, we had to play them in Vegas first,
so
it was a little different. I mean, when there's a new team, you always kind of look at, there's the new kids, sort of. I mean, there's the new organization with all these, guys that are from around the league, and it's weird watching them grow together like that. And then you figure, there's also the one guy that they took from us. Yeah, no, that's the game you want to watch. So forgot about them going into this question. So that'll be my second answer behind the Avalanche. And then obviously Chicago's last.
It will be interesting to see Penguins Hurricanes too, especially because now that's going to be a divisional matchup again.
Yeah.
And the Canes won the Central Division this past season. So now we'll see what happens when they come back into the Metro. The Metro is not going to be an easy division to win. I mean, it never has been. It's going to be hard to even make the playoffs in this division now. And I feel like it's the same way for the Atlantic Division. I mean, you look at Florida and Tampa and Boston are all joining back against Ottawa, who's getting better. Montreal just went to the Stanley Cup. Toronto's never an easy out. Poor Buffalo.
Yeah.
Poor Buffalo. They're going to get crapped on.
I have a tangent going. Are they really keeping that to the Metro and the Atlantic as is? Because, man.
Probably. They're going to go back to normal.
The fact that Florida and Tampa kind of got to fly to Canada to be in their division when there's multiple teams in, I don't know. It's just a tangent I could go on for a little while about how that alignment is stupid. It is.
I mean, I don't know what else you really want to
say
about that. I'm fine with either way. The East is going to be tough to get out of next year.
No, yeah, either way. I mean, no matter what way you look at it, the East will be screwed. But that's just a little tangent point of it's dumb. The NHL is stupid sometimes.
Well, I don't think that's ever been said about the NHL.
Oh, the smartest referees in the league or in the world, whatever.
The best. That's not even just the smartest. We have the best and the brightest in the NHL, which honestly, you do have to cut them some slack, but I wouldn't go as far as to say the best and the brightest.
He could have politically answered that question so easily, though. Just, there have been some issues, but for what it is worth,
we're doing the best we can.
Not even that. Just, yes, there have been some issues. There have been some, question marks, but we have a good group, and we are confident in our good group. Boom. Just a Sidney Crosby answer. Just, we have a good group of guys. We're confident in our group of guys, and we go out there and we do our thing. That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
Not this extra bullshit.
You went out and gave the Nikita Kucherov answer.
I have comments on Kucherov we will get to
at
a future episode.
On a future episode? Yeah, I have comments we'll get to on that as well. But do you have anything else, Horwat, about any of these matchups that you want to see? Any of these matchups that, what you're excited for in any of them?
Just to travel again, I think that's the big one. Clearly the new team will be fun. Watching Seattle play their first season will be interesting. Anytime a new team comes into the league, it's, like I said, it's always just fun watching them grow together as a team, watching them play I mean, is the NHL really forcing this rivalry between them and Vancouver?
It's kind of a natural rivalry considering how close they are. I'm excited to see Seattle versus Vegas.
Yeah, is
Battle
that
of
game
the
outdoors
expansion
yet?
teams. No, it's not outdoors yet.
The expansion classic. I've been saying it ever since Seattle was gifted a team. I said, all right, there goes Vegas' first outdoor game.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know. No, Vegas already had an outdoor game. They played at Lake Tahoe this year.
Yeah, then a pandemic happened. So
yeah,
hear me out on this.
Okay.
Forgot about that. Plus, that game was shambles.
Yeah, they tried though. They tried to do something special.
They tried.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Tip of the Ice-Burgh. Again, a big thank you goes out to Jordan from the Helmet Hair and the Yins Hers podcast for joining the show. We will be back on Thursday with a new episode and our Seattle mock draft 3.0 for the Pittsburgh Penguins, our final one before the protected rosters go in later on this week. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Make sure you go and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Go check out our YouTube channel where our Pens polls and our shout outs and call outs will now be going every week. So at least 2 videos up on our YouTube channel a week now. But like I said, that's all for this one. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a good one, Pens fans.